a locked, loaded, and angry neighbor, an ally who is nothing short of a constant existential threat, a block of partners who can't find a common drive, a non-partner in war that has surpassed the entire alliance's tech superiority, and a powder keg that could erupt with even a fraction of aggression on the eastern flank. This is what 32 nations have to deal with as they meet in Ankara. The NATO summit is here, and this will be the most decisive event the 77-year-old alliance needs to pull off to justify its continued existence.
Because in The Hague, of course, there were decisions about spending. That will no doubt be part of the agenda to see where NATO is on this. But beyond that, there are big issues in the background, above all about the United States, its commitments in Europe. And I think, European allies are going to be very keen to hear from President Trump, especially, is the U.S. going to stay engaged in European security? Will it do more on Ukraine, as the G7 perhaps suggested?
Ukraine remains the mission, but the question has turned deadly. Can the West actually deliver? The era of open-ended promises is dead. The era of strict military logistics is here. Weapons, production, speed. The alliance is trying to hold the line, but the seams are stretching. Beneath the diplomatic smiles, a desperate scramble for cohesion is underway. Ankara is hosting a massive defense forum, but the reality on the factory floor is grim. It's no longer just about writing checks. It's about the sheer inability to build weapons fast enough. Supply chains are stretched to the breaking point, and European rearmament is moving at a crawl. NATO has the cash, but member states are terrified they no longer have the industrial muscle to actually fight a sustained war. The 5% defense spending target is the ultimate reality check. It was the promise made last year at The Hague, but it's becoming the wedge that's splitting the pact in two. Some nations are sprinting to catch up. Others are hitting a wall of economic and political collapse. The bloc agrees on the goal, but they're rapidly losing the ability to reach it together. Donald Trump is casting a long, dark shadow over the presidential complex. His message is brutal and clear. The relationship is ridiculous and not reciprocal. He's not just demanding defense cash, he's demanding blind loyalty. Europe is being told to take the lead or face abandonment. This summit is no longer about consensus. It's about political self-preservation.
I think it will be a success if it's a predictable event, in the sense that there aren't things that are disruptive. President Trump has his own style, and it's true he has a very good relationship here in Turkey. I think he'll be keen to try to avoid any embarrassment here. So that actually argues for something that's a bit more predictable. But you really never know, and we're at a point of very low trust across the Atlantic. So there's a lot of scope for things going wrong. Hopefully that won't be the case.
Iran and the Strait of Hormuz have become the final breaking point. Washington has officially linked NATO's future to its willingness to project power beyond Europe, effectively ending the old transatlantic bargain. The atmosphere in Ankara is heavy. Is this the last summit of the old world order, or the final fractured meeting before the alliance tears itself apart?
I'm sure after the Iran experience, allies will be very focused on issues of air and missile defense. This is very important here in Turkey, above all, and also the general question of what NATO could be doing in the Mediterranean and the South. That's not been the focus for the last years, but it could be now.
5 impossible crises converging on one table. As the doors close at the presidential complex, the diplomatic theater stops and the brutal math begins. NATO didn't survive 77 years by accident, but it has never faced a storm from every direction at once. If Ankara fails to deliver a unified front, the world won't just witness a bad summit, it will witness the beginning of the end of the Western alliance.